And just as an aside, for those who are viewing this, if you have a question that you want to ask, just put it in the chat and we'll try to address it as this session moves on. Don't wait till the end. So if something comes up and you want to talk about it, just let us know. So let's get to the bottom line. Since this is an ABAIM sponsored platform, why is interoperability from the standpoint of AI so important?
Yeah, I think it's it's a great question, and I think one of the first conversations we had, and I personally had, was from an angle of artificial intelligence in healthcare. Um, I'm not going to say, and I'm not going to lie, that this is the primary objective of what we do, but fundamentally, interoperability by itself is a kind of a hollow subject unless you address it from a perspective of the end user, right? So whether it's a patient, a physician, the care team, um, you need to understand what is the end goal, the end result. And artificial intelligence is something is part of it is the end game, but it's also part of the process. And you cannot build a successful excuse me, product or solution, an intelligent product or solution, unless your data that you're using is uh, encompassing enough, it is complete, it is correct, and it offers sort of the proper input for your research or what you're trying to do. So we see the kind of the part that we're talking about, the AI, is very much dependent on how quick, how complete, and how correct the data is that fundamentally the researchers and the users of that data are going. It's going to be. So for us, this is kind of the two sides of the coin, if you want. And this applies not just to artificial intelligence, but any data usage. We can talk more about that and address that more in the discussion across the board.
Yeah. So maybe you can tell us what Cyberionics does. What problem is it trying to solve?
Right. So we sometimes refer to ourselves as Cybex. Makes it easier, and that's the abbreviation we typically use in some of our materials. And also that's how we refer to our unified healthcare framework, or data framework. And the objective is actually to approach this from a perspective of a smart integration platform. And I know the word platform makes people cringe sometimes, but and I refer to it as framework sometimes. It's the desire to provide an end-to-end solution to a fragmentation problem. And we use the word interoperability very often, and in healthcare, interoperability typically refers technically to the data exchange between the players in the marketplace, be that providers, HIEs, and so on and so forth. However, we look at it more holistically, if you want. We believe that the issue starts at the source. So if a healthcare provider doesn't have their data in order and the different systems talking to each other properly, and we're not talking about just clinical, but the business systems, they cannot, the industry as a whole cannot address the interoperability and the data exchange and the data usage properly. So that's kind of our perspective, that you have to look at how do you facilitate, how do you assist the provider to deal with their internals and become a partner to them in that journey of resolving those data conundrums that they all, without exception, have.